So today I would love to tell you 5 short stories. The first story happened in Zagreb in Croatia in 2020. I participated there in the international residency, and in March 2020, COVID hit and I was locked in the tiny apartment that I rented in the foreign country without any possibility to fly back home because all the planes were landed and all the shows were canceled. So I looked around and I was thinking, what do I have? 2 bedrooms, one for sleep, one for work, and a balcony. And a balcony seemed to me like a public and private space together. And I was thinking, okay, not bad. And I decided to open a gallery on my balcony to show my works that I didn't have a chance to show anywhere else. And so I started to run this gallery with this large scale watercolors. And then, but a lot of birds interrupted my work and they made marks on this big paper. So I decided to go like small scale. And I made, I think, around 20 shows there. For example, this one was dedicated to the dogs who walked their owners during COVID and who really saved them for being inside all the time. I made this show specifically for the birds who were my non-human visitors and who really helped me sitting on my balcony. Yeah, also bugs who visited me a lot. And I dedicated one show to them too. This was another show with the portraits of philosophers who were disturbed by the fly. Then after several shows, I ran out of paper and decided to do a show on the toilet paper and on the paper towels that I had enough, as you see. Then when I ran out of ideas, I decided to invite different artists to exhibit their works in my gallery too. So this is a work by a Polish artist, Jolanta Nowachuk, who made this flag. This is the works by other artists whom I exhibited. And then as a real gallery, the Balcony Gallery was invited to participate in the art fair in Moscow, where we made it like an installation with the stairs, so people can go upstairs and see everything around. The works, the idea of this iteration of the Balcony Gallery was that the works are changing all the time as they changed in Zagreb. And I also invited other artists to participate and to make collaboration with each other or just show their works. Yes, and it was also like a place for performance. And sometimes even unexpected interruption happened on the balcony. For example, this nose occasionally popped up. And then this balcony gallery project somehow exploded, and this is another iteration of the gallery with more abstract artists. And this was the last one in Germany, where I even did not curate it. So I just gave this idea to another artist, Zip Group from Russia, who curated it by themselves. This balcony gallery somehow made this way from very physical presence of me to this very elusive idea that now is traveling around the world. The second story that I would love to tell you happened in Moscow, in Russia. It was the first year of my grad school that I made totally online. And for you to understand, time difference between Moscow and Richmond is 8 hours. So all my classes were at night from 1 to 4 a.m. approximately. So I actually had two lives. One life, real life in Moscow, and one virtual life in the States. And in my real life, it was really a protest winter. A lot of people went out to the streets to say no to Putin's regime. And I went there too with my friends, and I made a bunch of interviews with my peers. And I asked them, I asked the same question. And the question is, when did you start that you actually live in history? When did you start feeling that something that happened in the bigger life really connected to your personal life and your personal narrative? And based on these stories, I made this show that included the big mural, 5 video works with testimonies, so with citation from the interviews, and with this painting that with the red painting. Yeah, and I'm very interested in history and how artists can represent the history itself. And since the official historical narrative is really owned by the government now in the in Russia, I relied on this personal kind of stories that they can tell the real historical narrative. And I chose this very elusive kind of media, this mural painting, because they are so the stories, they are into the interviews, but then they are gone. And also this mural, it was on view only 1 month during the show, and then it was erased. So this is my way to tell, to connect the personal narrative to the bigger picture. And I just can show you 5 seconds on the video how it looked like, because it was a very important part of the show. Okay, I think I will not show the whole thing because I don't want to take your time. Oh, sorry. So the third story that I want to share happened in Japan the last summer. During the last summer, I was invited there to participate in the festival and to work with the local community and to make an installation in the Buddhist temple. And when I arrived there, I was very interested in the history of this region. I realized that before the 20th century, this place was an important way of transporting salt.
Hey, Ekaterina, we can't see the new image.
Okay. Why? Now you see it?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is the place where people transported salt, and I decided to work with the local community and ask them for this painting sessions, and ask them to bring something that they think is most valuable for their life. And they all brought something. But one woman, she came over to the painting session, and she told me that she came there with the empty bag, and she told me that her best possession is her age, and it cannot be put into the bag. I didn't want to interrupt the space of the temple, because I understand how valuable is it. So I decided to make this construction, and to not to put anything to the walls. And in the storage room that is close to this temple, I made an installation also with the video and with graphics on this celluloid that I used to the video animation. And that's how it looked like. I also have a video, but I think I won't show it. Sorry. Sorry, because I feel that we ran out of time, and I will just go further. View. Yes. So my fourth story happened in the United States, in Richmond, and in other cities. I arrived here for the second year of the grad school. So I decided to continue with my interviews here, and I asked American people the same question that I asked in Russia. I asked them how their personal narrative is connected to the bigger picture, to the politics and to the society. And when I asked people for the interview, a lot of people responded me just, "Are you a Russian spy? Why do you want to make an interview?" But at the end, most of them agreed, and I spoke with I think with 20 people, with a social worker, with a student, with a homeschooled guy, with Republicans, with a former soldier, with a political refugee, and so really different people, different age, but I was very interested how great narrators they are. I felt like they all knew how to tell their own stories. And I made some kind of visual response to their stories. Some of this visual response is really connected to directly to the interviewee or to the story. Some of these visual responses are more like my interpretation. And some of the responses had really have like narrative, and some of them don't have any narrative because people didn't want to be recorded. So it's more like indirect response. What is interesting for me in this interviewing process is lately, one of my friends told me that he sees strangers as in the street as objects, as not as real people, because they're very far from him. So I think I see people in the really opposite way. They're very real for me, and they really carry their stories with them. They rarely ask to tell these stories, and sometimes they start to forget it. So I don't tell the stories for them or instead of them. I'm thinking about it as a visual response, and I try to find a visual clue to these stories. And for me, my work is kind of meeting with every person, like visual meeting, and For me, it's more a dialogue, not a journalist report. And yes, this is also the stills from the video that you can see in the show in 1 week. Yeah, I think I will not show it here because you will have an opportunity to watch it. But yeah. And my fifth story is not actually a story. It's a war that is happening now, the war that Russia made in Ukraine. The word war is banned in Russia, so it's prohibited to use it on the social media, and the social media are prohibited too. All the independent media are banned in Russia. Currency exchange is banned in Russia. Any public critical position is banned in Russia. Any kind of help for Ukraine is banned in Russia. So since the war started, I questioned myself, how can I be an artist? What should I do? What kind of visual response I can give to this situation as an artist? Because as a citizen, I'm volunteering, but also I was thinking it is important to make a visual kind of respond. And I made this series of women in black against the war. This is a protest movement that now is happening in Russia. And I took these pictures from the internet, and as you see, women who are protesting, they do not want to show their faces because they will be arrested for this. So they put these photos just anonymous without any kind of faces or their personalities. I want to finish with another kind of resist, because every situation is really, really bad with censorship in Russia now, but people do resist. And I want to finish with this beautiful elderly woman who, her name is Elena Osipova. She's an artist who has been protesting around Putin's government for 10 years. She's making her own posters for every protest, for every picket on the street. She has been arrested multiple times, but still she's doing this because she has nothing to lose, as she told in the interviews. I feel this is really important, and this is the face of the protest against this regime now. And I just wanted to show her and her works and just share it with you. And this is the latest photo of her, how she was detained by this police during her protest. I think that's it for now. I feel we're running out of time already, so I don't want to take more time. Thank you so much